Every league, no matter the sport, has its select few divas, as in players that are very temperamental, likely volatile at times, and just generally hard to please. They might be egotistical, dramatic, and come across as the one guy you don't want to meet up with for the casual beer. And surprisingly, the NHL also has its fair share of divas that live and thrive under the spotlight. So get up those pacifiers and clean those crowns, as we're about to go over 4 of the biggest divas currently in the league today. Now for me anyways, I decided to put Dubois at the bottom. While he's obviously completely okay with throwing his own tantrums in his own way, before the season the forward never really outwardly displayed the same continual patterns and behavior as the others do on this list. So while the shift was enough for me to personally include him, he's definitely not the worst. Anyways, most around the hockey world by now know that Dubois is no longer on the Blue Jackets roster, and in my opinion, a big part of that fact, and why he was traded so quickly, is pretty much because he was forcing CBJ's hand. So, hockey is a team sport, we all get that, and most players really do take being a good teammate seriously. They don't just talk about it, and they don't make it all about them. But really, if a player truly cared at all about the franchise that drafted them, why on earth would they put on the facade that they're willing to extend their deal only to turn around like 2 seconds later and say, "Gotcha, you know I really didn't mean that, right?" Obviously, this is a great player who has an amazing and unique skill set, so there's no denying that. So when Dubois went out during a regular season meeting against Tampa and acted purposefully like he forgot how to play hockey in order to get his own way regardless of if Columbus had the adequate time or not to orchestrate a deal in order to speed things up, well, that, in my opinion, is a total diva move. Anyways, knowing full and well that they didn't have to trade him, Dubois got his wish after being benched for the rest of the contest by the no-nonsense coach in John Tortorella, who, let's not forget, let him have it last postseason, which he probably deserved.
You said at the start of camp that you vowed to be a good teammate, a good player, a good person. Just ask you directly, do you think you've lived up to all 3 of those?
Like I said, I think I could definitely have a better start to the season. I hold myself to a high standard.
While I could probably say tracksuit and just be done with it, many watching may not know the extent of the forward's antics, and the video would be also a lot shorter, because this guy seems to thrive in dysfunction. So let's go for a little journey around the league, shall we? Kane immediately has his teammates despising him, fans, even those restaurants that he supposedly dined and dashed from. And then there was the dreaded tracksuit incident, where Evander decided he wanted to stand out from the team and neglected to go by the usual dress code upon joining a team function. And as the story goes, this angered Jets defenseman at the time, Dustin Byfuglien, who then chucked the jacket, at least, into the team showers, out of frustration. And sometimes certain guys just don't vibe in certain places. I totally get that. But there's a definite pattern here, unfortunately, that's undeniable. Kane then is sent to Buffalo, where he yet again gets into a heated exchange with a teammate, this time Justin Falk, after Falk reportedly lost it and called Kane selfish during practice. So now we have 2 separate teams and 2 separate scenarios that kinda sorta played out the same way, because just after the tracksuit deal, Kane was shortly moved to San Jose shortly after. And aside from just having bouts with teammates, Kane has spoken out against player safety multiple times, and even went off on a ref after he got ejected for shoving an official. Yikes. So yeah, in summary, this guy resembles a train wreck on and off the ice. Okay, here's the thing. Matthew Tkachuk is an extremely fun player to watch. He makes the game exciting and thrives on its intensity. So this isn't me in any way saying that I don't enjoy having him in the league, because I really do. But it's a matter of principle here, as in if you dish it, you should man up and be able to take it. So similarly to Evander Kane, Tkachuk has his own pattern of antics that he lives by. He loves to get under his opponent's skin, which is an art, that's respectable, but how he does it and goes about it is what's so diva-like. As in, he talks a big talk, but when it comes down to execution, well, then he crawls back into his shell. Take the Zach Kassian incident, for instance. Tkachuk obviously is targeting the guy all game and knows what he's doing. Kassian reacts because, he's pissed, and then all of a sudden, Tkachuk turtles and just takes it. But I do have to say that this guy has a lot of audacity, because right after all of this, he basically says post-game, well, if he didn't want to be hit, he shouldn't have been in the white. And yeah, he did drop the gloves and answer the bell next game, and I commend him for that. But still. And then there was the whole incident with Toronto, more recently, following a controversial incident that took place in the contest prior between the two teams. So, Muzzin, who probably still had some resentment towards the agitator for his questionable quote-unquote fall onto goalie Jack Campbell, he decided to, step on Tkachuk's level for a second and play his kind of game. So Muzzin flicks the puck at number 19 after the buzzer sounds, and Tkachuk loses it and proceeds to mock a 2-year-old who doesn't get their favorite candy at the grocery store. After not getting to have his way with Muzzin, the forward has a visible meltdown, slams the bench door on his captain, and stomps off in frustration. So yeah, this is a grown man that plays arguably the toughest sport out there, and that still has the terrible twos. I mean, did you honestly think Subban wouldn't be here? In all actuality, if there was an award for the most teammates that a single player has legitimately had hate him, well, Subban would definitely be the recipient of the award. Let's see. Montreal, we witnessed Subban getting into it with multiple teammates, most importantly Brendan Gallagher and Max Pacioretty, who he was known to have legit beef with. Nashville, the dysfunction was still there in the locker room, reportedly, with number 76, but the Preds did a better job at keeping it under wraps. So New Jersey, Subban gets into it yet again with a teammate, this time Miles Wood. The two visibly could be seen in a tussle during a team scrimmage, and for those that say, it was just a friendly scrum, I encourage you to watch Subban's facial expressions directly after, cause he does not look like it was just harmless horseplay skating off. Wood later compared it to sibling rivalry and didn't admit to having any animosity towards the defenseman. But really, if he cared about his team and the culture at all, he wasn't going to. Let's be real here. Anyways, after all the animosity displayed with teammates and opponents over the years, PK Subban, to me, has rightfully earned the crown in this one.
You want it? You want it? You want it? I'm gonna beat the living out of you. Beat? When I'm ready. Let's go when you're ready. When I'm ready. All right, do another. Post another workout video. Post another workout video, you loser.